All right.
This is Jacob from NCFM, recording from the fantastic state of Illinois in the equally fantastic city of Chicago. I'm joined with my colleague Les, who is equally, if not more, fantastic than both of those things. How you doing?
Thank you. I'm well. How are you?
Everything's coming up roses over here.
All right. It's good to be here.
Yeah, awesome. Glad to hear that. So, the idea for this is just a little bit of getting to know each other, getting to know what this is about, what you should do if you're in a similar situation, and all sorts of things that hopefully we can talk and we can say to give advice and elucidate some ideas about the issues that we care so much about that are so disregarded by mainstream society. So, Les, do you want to give a brief introduction so people can come see where you're coming from?
Sure. I'm Les, and I'm a member of the Chicago chapter of NCFM. Um, and I came to this from a lot of personal experience that really put me in a dark place with a lot of uh, feelings of hopelessness and the same kind of things that you hear so many men talk about. But um, in the process of getting better, which I have, I found the National Coalition for Men. I got to meet some of the leadership of this organization at a conference last summer, and also got to meet Tim Goldich, and he invited me to join. And without really thinking that much about it, I agreed, mostly because I felt like I would be able to do something, and I wasn't going to be able to do nearly as much all by myself as I would be able to in a group
Yeah, that's true.
of like-minded people that just want to make the world a better place for everybody, and to help make that happen around here.
Yeah. Uh, the national always starts at the local.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. As
absolutely.
for myself, I don't have nearly as interesting a story. I got exposed to this stuff through my university. And once you start seeing things, once you start noticing things, it becomes really hard to sit by and just not do anything. Once I graduated and I started working in STEM, I moved to Chicago. And now that I'm here, uh, it was fantastic to be able to come together with a group of like-minded people to discuss things where it's difficult to discuss, them outside, to bounce ideas off each other, to debate each other, and to actually do real world things to make the world a better place. So all those things and many more have led me down this path, but pretty much originally, nowhere near as difficult. I just learned it through sort of academia. I've been an activist of various causes, mostly sort of left wing stuff my whole life, and I know a lot of people disagree, but I think this kind of dovetails very nicely with that. But that's one of
Me
the things
too.
that it's good to debate about.
Yeah.
So, uh, could you go a little bit more into how you met and how you met, like I guess Tim and
Mhm.
how we started the chapter, etc.
Sure. Well, like I said, I met Tim at the International Conference for Men that was held here in Chicago last summer. Um, and as it happened, when panel discussion was going on, and they kind of, you know, put the floor open for comments. As it happened, Tim was sitting right behind me, and I didn't even know that until he stood up and he announced that he was the president of the Chicago chapter of National Coalition for Men, that the chapter was technically 10 years old, but that right now it didn't really have any membership. And he made a comment that this part of the country is what he described as MRA desert. Um, I know MRA, men's rights advocates, kind of certain perception to it out in the world, but from his perspective, I knew that what he meant was, very simply advocating for, the rights. That's there's always an argument in that arena. The issues faced by specifically men and boys in this part of the country. It is desert. Public discourse, and it's not part of the policies and the institutions that we live with. And it's well past time for that to change.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I joined up.
Yep. I can see a lot of those points. Yeah, I actually was not in the country while that conference was going on.
Oh,
But by the way, you can see many of the important talks online from that conference if you just type in the ICMI 19 on YouTube, and you can find many of them. And there are a large number of them that are quite worth listening to.
for
Uh,
sure.
but yeah, I was out of the country while that was happening. And pretty much immediately once I got back, I started emailing people. I moved to Chicago uh, pretty much at the beginning of September. And I started emailing people, and that through the uh, portal on the webpage, that brought me to Tim, and then just got the ball rolling. And now we have a relatively healthy group of people that meet every week. And every week, a Zoom call with one time a month, we have in-person meeting with usually some pizza.
Yes.
I look forward to it most of the week. So also, Tim did a lot of the groundwork and legwork that had to be done for this to become a thing. Without everything I did before, this would have taken, this would have been far much larger of a headache. Many aspects of it. We are 501c3, which is fantastic,
Mhm.
and he really put a lot of work into it, making what it is today. So
For
it's
sure.
all going quite well. Les, I want to thank you for taking the time out of your day to talk about this with me. I learned quite a lot,
Welcome.
and it was a pleasure to speak with you.
Thank you. You also. It was great. I always
Uh,
enjoy talking to you.
to everyone listening, this is NCFM-Chicago. We have links down below as to how you can get involved. We meet once a week for planning, and we have several events in the pipeline after human malware gets resolved that you should look forward to. To everyone, thank you for listening, and may we all wake up in a better tomorrow.